Hello everyone, today we are going to be continuing Blaire Wilson's first book by Jennifer Castle. Chapter 17, Fairly Disappointing. Mrs. V. Blaire, huge problem. You know how Kat wants creme brulee instead of a wedding cake? My sister just called to remind me that her whole family can't eat dairy. What are we going to do? Blaire. No worries, Mrs. V. I'll talk to Mom. Mrs. V. Oh, okay. So you'll have a dairy-free dessert option? Would we? I thought it was just me who was going to have to skip the creme brulee that night. But I guess if our guests had dietary restrictions too, we needed a plan B. Blaire. We'll figure something out. Mrs. V. You are, as always, my hero. I went inside and found Mom in the restaurant kitchen. When I gave her the news, she didn't seem worried. Actually, she said, I've been researching creme brulee recipes that use coconut milk instead of cream. Is that even a thing? I asked her. Coconut milk? Creme brulee? Definitely a thing, Mom said. She brought up a few recipes on her laptop. See? I stared at the photo on the screen. It didn't look any different from regular creme brulee. Then again, that grilled soy sandwich had looked like the real thing too. I have the ingredients we need, Mom said, and I have time to test some recipes now if you want. Can you just do it? I hadn't cooked since the grilled cheese disaster. I can, Mom said, but do you really want to avoid cooking forever? When I didn't answer, Mom added, It would mean a lot to Kat if you made her favorite dessert. I took a deep breath. That was true. Okay, I said, let's get to work. We spent the afternoon making 3 different versions of dairy-free creme brulee. It was really fun to be experimenting with Mom again, tasting as we went. I realized how much time we used to spend cooking and how much I missed it. I'd just put a 3rd recipe try on the stove when Grandpa came to find me, the phone in his hand. Thea, on the line for you, he said. Hi, I said after I took the phone, motioning for Grandpa to watch the pot on the stove while I talked to Thea. Mom had gone to find something in the walk-in refrigerator. Hey, Thea said, just making sure we're still on for the fair tomorrow? OMG, the fair. I'd totally forgotten it was tomorrow. We hadn't really talked about it lately. Yeah, I said as Grandpa snuck a taste from one of the finished creme brulees on the counter. Of course. Okay, good, Thea said. When do you want to meet? My dance troupe goes on stage at the International Pavilion at 1 o'clock. So I'll come watch your performance, I said as Grandpa tried the second creme brulee. Then after we can go on the rides and see stuff. Grandpa shook his head. I wasn't surprised. That recipe definitely needed work. Make sure to get a seat up front, Thea said. I'm excited because... I glanced at the 3rd try on the stove, which Grandpa was supposed to be watching. It was about to boil over into a huge mess. I dashed over and turned down the burner. I wanted to tell you, Thea was saying in my ear. Gotta go, I said. Wedding recipe emergency. Tell me tomorrow in person. The next afternoon, Dad, Beckett, and I drove to the fair. The guys were having a dude's day while I hung out with Thea. When Dad gave me my admission wristband, he also handed me Mom's phone. In case you need to reach me while we're here, he said. Have fun. Thanks, I said, tucking the phone into my pocket. Mom was going to find a ton of crazy fun house mirror selfies on this thing tomorrow. I was headed towards the International Pavilion when the phone rang. It was Kat. Hi, Kat, I answered. Maggie? Kat sounded confused. No, it's Blaire. I have Mom's phone. Oh, good. I was calling for you anyway. I'm at the vintage dress store with my bridesmaids. My heart skipped a beat as I remembered how our trip to Kellenberger's had ended. But if Kat was shopping for dresses, she hadn't called off the wedding. That was good. I found 2 awesome gowns, Kat was saying. Shannon likes one, but Maya likes the other. I love them both and can't decide. Will you be my tiebreaker? Of course, I said. I'm at the fair, so send me pictures on Mom's phone. It was almost 1 o'clock, so I picked up my pace, staring at the phone as I went. I walked straight into a little girl holding a giant stuffed banana. Oops, sorry, I told her. I found a seat at the pavilion with 2 minutes to spare. Come on, Kat, show me those dresses. What was taking her so long? I shook the phone in frustration. Cell phone service is terrible around here, said a woman sitting next to me. Ding! Finally, the first photo popped up. Wow, that dress was beautiful, and Kat was glowing. I waited for the second photo to come through. Come on, I whispered. There was movement near the stage as members of the dance troupe entered the pavilion. Come on, Kat. The dancers were now on stage and had formed a semicircle. The leader of Thea's troupe stepped up to the microphone to welcome the audience. Ding! The second photo came in. That dress was gorgeous too, but my gut said the first one was the winner. I quickly typed a reply and pressed send. As the first notes of the music started, I tucked the phone into my pocket and looked up to see Thea and Madison on stage. Wait, what? What happened to the other dancers? Oh, the duet. It was weeks ago that Thea talked about trying out for it, and she got it. Woohoo! I sat up straight and cheered for my friend. Thea and Madison were amazing. I could tell by the way the other dancers watched them in awe that this duet was a big deal, just like Thea had said at the rehearsal that day. That was my friend up there, and she was rocking it. But as the dance went on, my excitement slowly turned into a lump in my throat. Why hadn't Thea told me she got the duet? That was exactly the kind of big news you're supposed to share with your BFF. Like when I had big news about Gay proposing or Kat agreeing to let me help with the wedding, Thea was the first person I called. As Thea and Madison pulled off some complicated footwork, I flashed back to the day Thea went to the swimming hole with Madison. She hadn't told me about that either. What else hadn't she shared? After the performance, Thea and I found each other in a crowd of her dance friends and their families. We hugged, but it was awkward. I drew away quicker than usual. You were great, I said. I loved those turns at the end of the duet. Thanks, she said stiffly. It means a lot to me that you were here. I was afraid you'd have to cancel again because of wedding stuff. I shook my head. I wouldn't miss this. I know how important it is to you. Thea's expression softened, and I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding in. So, she said, linking her arm through mine, should we go get something to eat? Definitely, I said. There's a funnel cake calling our names. I steered us toward the crowd in the direction of the funnel cake booth. Hey, wait, Thea said, stopping short. I was thinking maybe we could share a jumbo cotton candy this year, since we can't get the whipped cream on the funnel cake. Maybe we could start a new tradition, one that doesn't mess with your lactose issue. We always get funnel cake, I said, but the whipped cream. Thea, I said more loudly than I meant to, I know what I can't have. Why do you always have to remind me? Thea's eyes widened. She looked hurt. Well, sorry for caring. Forget the food, I said, shaking my head. Let's just do the fun house before it gets too crowded. We headed down the midway in silence. Everyone around us looked like they were having a blast. The kind of awesome time Thea and I were supposed to be having. We showed the attendant our wristbands and stepped inside the funhouse to my favorite part, the mirror maze. Thea ran ahead, and suddenly there were a million Theas in front of me. I felt a twinge in my stomach. It was like all those girls weren't just Thea, but also our other friends and her dance buddies, whom she'd been hanging out with all summer instead of me. Come on, said Thea and her infinity clones, waving me deeper into the maze. She stopped in front of a mirror that made her look super short, as if she'd been smushed into a mini version of herself. I stepped up to the mirror next to it, which made me look freaky tall. Mom's phone stuck out of my pocket. It looked bigger than my head. Whoa! Can you imagine if phones were really that giant? I said, letting out a laugh. Yeah, Thea said, examining my reflection. You probably wouldn't carry them around everywhere if they were that big. And I guess you'd be forced to actually watch a dance performance instead of texting? I pivoted to face Thea. What's that supposed to mean? Thea looked angry. I barely see you all summer, and then when I do, you're on your phone instead of watching my performance. Huh? I did watch your performance. I just had to deal with a wedding situation first. Kat was... Enough about the wedding, Thea said. I don't want to hear any more wedding talk. What happened to you being excited about the wedding and helping? I asked her. But she had already raced up the stairs to the second level of the funhouse, where there's a bunch of moving platforms you can walk across. I followed her. Thea was on a platform that went up and down when I got upstairs. I jumped on one that wobbled back and forth. We were going in totally different directions. What happened to you being excited about the wedding and helping me out? I repeated. I didn't know you'd get totally obsessed and not want to do anything else, Thea said. Or talk about anything else, like the things I'm doing. But you didn't even tell me you got the duet, I said. I tried to tell you on the phone yesterday, Thea said. But you didn't even have time to talk because, of course, you were too busy with wedding stuff. This wedding is important to me, I yelled, losing my balance and grabbing the rail next to the platform. I want Kat to be happy. I want Grandpa to stay. If you were a good friend, you'd get that. And if you were a good friend, you wouldn't have totally abandoned me this summer. I jumped off the platform. My head was spinning. I abandoned you? No. You abandoned me, even though you promised to help. Thea stepped off her own platform. Forget this fair thing, okay? I'm done. She turned and ran at top speed out of the funhouse, away from me. Oh no, that's so sad. They're having a big fight. I hope Blaire and Thea figure this out. I think they both have valid points, but I don't know. I think that this fight was sort of bound to happen. They need to just talk about their issues and I think just work it out. And Blaire needs to, I guess, do some other things maybe besides wedding planning. It's okay to say, I'm busy, I'll text you later, or I don't know, I've got something else to do, can we reschedule? But I think Thea too has been really busy with her other friends and her dance performance and stuff like that. So I don't know, I think there's two sides to this story and I think they're both right in a way. So I hope they just talk it out and hopefully we find out more in the next chapter about that. Also too, what is going on with Kat? We need to make sure she's not actually going to call off this wedding. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit the little bell for post notifications, and don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching. See you soon.